The struggle between Black Americans and police is nothing new. But how would the job be different if police departments across the country looked like the communities they serve? Those are questions we try to answer after a year of civil unrest, racial injustice, and record-breaking crime, with the pandemic as a backdrop.
Well, a few months ago, I spent the day with a KCPD police sergeant and asked those very questions. As the U.S. becomes more diverse, police departments across the country are having a difficult time keeping up and looking like the communities they serve. That includes Kansas City. What was the neighborhood like when you was growing up?
It was fun.
Where Leila Lawson is just one of 5 Black female police sergeants in the department. 5 out of 248 sergeants.
So I could literally only go from about here to 53rd Street.
We're at 54th and Park, where Sergeant Lawson grew up, to talk about crime, representation, and trust, and what role the three play as Kansas City battles a record number of homicides in 2020.
I'll never forget, it was helicopters and sirens, and I looked out the window, and they had a guy sprawled out in the middle, and all these cop cars were around it. They had the guy at gunpoint, and I was like, oh my God, that's what my grandmother does on me going up the street.
Your perception of police growing up?
I felt like they were okay. It wasn't a negative one until I began to drive.
What happened then?
And I got stopped by the police, and they told me my tail light was out once, and I got out later, and it wasn't out.
Was it the case of DWB?
I felt like it was. It kind of scarred me, though. I was like, man.
Did that kind of break your trust in police?
Absolutely, you know, and the reason that it broke my trust initially is because I didn't know. I didn't know, was it a color thing, or was it they really have a legit reason to stop me? But
you see, it's those types of encounters that pushed the NAACP to issue a travel advisory for blacks in the state of Missouri in 2017. The first time the National Civil Rights Organization issued a travel advisory for an entire state. A lot of people say trust has eroded between the police and the community. Would you agree with that?
So that's a tough one when you say trust has eroded, because to me that means it's gone. And I don't feel like trust has left us completely.
Does representation matter? Especially when we're talking about a police force.
Absolutely, representation matters. The reason that representation matters is when you're in the community and you can't see yourself, it's hard for you to truly know if someone can understand your position in life and what you're going through.
Of the 1,899 people employed with KCPD, 163 are black men, 152 black women. That's 8.6 and 8% of the department, respectively. Kansas City, Missouri is 30% African American. Would the job be easier if the police department, and not just this police departments across the country, if they looked more like the communities they policed?
Can't really say that it would, because it depends on the people. Even though it's a noble profession that has health benefits and your service in your community, people don't, it's history. People don't trust the police, you know, and that's kind of been a thing where it's hard to get the trust.
Building trust has been a challenge for police departments across the country. This, as Kansas City is going through unprecedented crime numbers. Each homicide in 2020 now record-breaking. According to the department, almost all could be prevented with better conflict resolution and better relationships.
Everyone in this uniform does not symbolize hatred and racism. Everybody in this uniform is not out to get you. There are a lot of men and women that wear this uniform that want to help everyone in the community that they serve.
But just how good is that service to the community? Lawson says no matter the job, we should treat the customer as if they were a loved one.
Customer service is terrible. It's failing. And when I say it's failing, what I mean is this the kind of service you would want to receive if you were on the receiving end of the service? If we had to do a survey like the end of customer service calls, what would our ranking, what would our rating be? Would we get the J.D. Powers Award or wouldn't we?
Let me ask you that. What would your ranking be for KCPD?
I don't know.
You know, it's important to note those staffing numbers come to us as of October 1. There have been promotions, retirements, etc. Tomorrow, we have a story where Sergeant Lawson sits down with 3 young black men in the community, and they put her in the hot seat asking the tough questions. So tune in tomorrow night at 10 for that conversation.